So I think you'd agree that it's pretty hard to get a loan when you don't have established credit history or permanent address or any form of verifiable documentation, right? Well, in India, Algorand and the Mandeshi Foundation are looking to solve that very problem. This week, the Algorand Foundation announced the second Indian-based application to hit the mainnet in collaboration with Mandeshi. This initiative is geared towards female entrepreneurs in India. Problem is, they lack vital digital credentials that they need to survive in a digitally forward world. And thanks to initiatives like Algorand's Algo Bharat, which they started in 2023, this new application with the Mandeshi Foundation is going to address that problem. So in this episode, we're going to take a look at the application, get an idea of what's really going on, get an idea of the Mandeshi Foundation, as well as talk a little bit about the history of Algorand in India. By the end of this episode, I think you're truly going to have a deeper understanding of just how different Algorand is. So, welcome. You're listening to another edition of the DHN Crypto Podcast. I've been in this space since 2019, and I've researched over 1,000 digital assets. Now, I have narrowed my focus a bit, but the primary reason I sit here in front of this camera is to share all that knowledge with y'all. All I'm asking in return, honestly, is to hit that subscribe button. I want to see the channel hit 100,000 subscribers before the end of the year. I'm trying to get that little silver play. It's a plaque now. It used to be a whole button. But I think in exchange for the information, that's the least you guys could do, right? Right. In exchange, though, do got some tokens for you, starting with the DHN Blockchain Starter Kit. If you're new to the crypto space, ladies and gentlemen, these 3 pages can be your dossier to the world of blockchain. What I have added in it are ways to understand the crypto space, like the 5 verticals of blockchain, which basically categorizes everything that you'll see come out of the sector. The adoption model, which is a visual representation of how blockchain technologies are adopted. We may reference that again in this episode, as well as a criteria for evaluating digital assets. Listen, the networks that we cover on this channel, they're a part of the new financial system. But that doesn't mean I am putting it on the table as you need to only look into these assets. This criteria I created can be applied to a meme coin, a gaming token, whatever. As long as they are able to hit these 4 pillars, then you'll be okay in your investment. Now, this pairs well with another product that we have on the channel, the new financial system master sheet. These assets that you see here are the ones that we will cover the most on this channel. And that has given me the opportunity to put together all of the organizations and associations that these networks share. This gives us a better visual of the new financial system. So, DHN Blockchain Starter Kit, as well as the master sheet, will be located in the description and pinned comment under this video. So, with that, let's get into this episode, guys, because the story came out a couple days ago. I told you guys we were going to dig into it, and I wanted to take some time to make sure that we had all the details in place. So what we are looking at here is the launch of SEWA, which is the Self-Employed Women's Association out in India, and their digital health passport. But that's not all, ladies and gentlemen. Algorand hit us with a 2-piece and a biscuit this week. We also have thousands of first-time women borrowers in India will gain access to formal finance through blockchain-based credit scoring. So we're actually going to start with this one here because we have more details. But it also wraps up the digital health passport provided by SEWA because Mandeshi also works with SEWA. So there was a point in time where I thought Hedera was the deepest in India. But now, knowing about Algorand's Bharat initiative, as well as their relationship with T-Hub, the largest startup incubator in India, I'm going to have to give that crown to Algorand. So let's dive into this project. Let's get some more details on this. Because as I mentioned in the beginning, the problem is female entrepreneurs in India, they don't have access to these digital credentials. And what Mandeshi has been doing for a number of years, guys, and check out these statistics here that you can find on their website. When it comes to women, they established the first cash credit product for rural women in weekly markets. They established the first pension fund in partnership with Unit Trust of India for rural women micro entrepreneurs. They've touched over 400,000 women, established over 90,000 accounts, and as far as communities outside of female entrepreneurs, 50,000 people. They focus on farmers, and they have a particular interest in enriching little girls with financial literacy. All of those things, how can you get upset? All right, I know crypto gives us a lot to be mad at, but when you read stuff like this, come on, man. Come on, man. So, the Mandeshi Foundation, I like what they're offering. What takes this to the next level is the technical integration with India's established digital infrastructure. I was trying to remember the precise word, but they have it here. Aadhaar, as well as DigiLocker. I'm going to show you who those are in just a second. Let's read this description here. So, Algorand is going to provide a Web3 custodial wallet integrated with India's trusted digital identity infrastructure and storage system. This will allow tokens representing verified digital documents to be shared with lending institutions. These tokens will also help establish a woman's credit worthiness, creating a portable and privacy-compliant financial identity that can be updated over time. So, for example, in this scenario, you could pull a wallet from the Algorand ecosystem. In this case, we'll go with Para Wallet. And I'm kind of mad at y'all for letting me call it Pella Wallet in that last video. All right, it's cool. We'll get past it. But Para Wallet is definitely integrated into this type of system. And a female entrepreneur in India can download the Para Wallet, and it can also store these digital credentials inside of it. I know this firsthand because if you've been following me on X, you know I started taking an Algorand Web3 masterclass. This is probably one of the best choices I've made in a long time because it has given me an inside look. The masterclass is geared towards entrepreneurs. So they're telling us and giving us perspectives that other entrepreneurs have given them. So we get a perspective from the ecosystem that Algorand has already built over the last few years. I bring that up because one of the most important lessons that I have learned from this masterclass is blockchain is not meant to replace, it's meant to enhance, right? Just like when we went from Web 1, static internet, before email, to Web 2, email, message boards, social media, right? It added utility to the blank, boring, isolated internet. Now, Web 3 is taking that same thing and applying it to the world of finance. What Web 2 did for communication, Web 3 will do the same for finance. That is why we follow the networks that we follow. All right. I don't want to go off on a tangent because digging into this one, it got me excited, man. But let's finish this out here. Many of them will be first-time borrowers and they've never had a credit score and they don't know what documents that are needed to access a loan. I mean, hell, some of us over here can have experienced that with the home buying process, right? The Mandeshi Foundation has supported more than 390,000 women through microloans and training. With the new digital credit score and identity wallet, the foundation can scale its programs to help women access funding from larger financial institutions. Another point I wanted to make here about the Para Wallet. Upon completion of this masterclass, I'm going to get a little certificate. That certificate is going to be in the form of an NFT, and it will live in my Para Wallet. So that's proof right there that functionally this will work, right? So let's dive into those two platforms that are tied into this, because you can see they posted on their LinkedIn about 3 days ago, Algo Barat. They will be the digital alternative credit scorecard. Integrated with DigiLocker and Aadhaar, Mandeshi is using blockchain to help drive greater financial inclusion for thousands of India's micro entrepreneurs. So this will definitely have the potential to expand outside of female entrepreneurs, but they need the most help in this current situation. So let's take a look at this first one here. This is, Aadhaar. Oh boy! First thing I thought about when I looked at this thing was, did I miss an appointment at the Secretary of State? Because the website looks so much similar to what we have here in the United States. This is where you can update your digital ID information in India, ladies and gentlemen. You can think of this similar to Real ID. I know it's popped off here in Michigan. Let me know down in the comments if that's a thing across the country, right? But it's a lot like Real ID because you can log in now. I know in the state of Michigan, you can log in now and they redirect you to a Real ID website. Where they get the idea from? India, ladies and gentlemen. Now let's take a look at DigiLocker. This takes things to a whole new level, and it calls into the point that I made about my NFT certificate being stored in a Pearl wallet. India has created a digital infrastructure where their students, business owners, licensees, have a digital database verifying their credentials. I remember years ago, as a matter of fact, this is a Ripple story. Okay. So shout out to the XRP armor. Ripple worked with, I believe it was Bahrain, for the digitization of land contracts, right? In the membership section of this channel, I put together a crypto doc centered around Africa. I led with the fact that the majority of people out there, they don't have the proper documentation. And that led to a story where a young girl was looking to inherit some land, couldn't even access it because there was no digital record of ownership. India has tackled this problem effectively, right? Another reason why I love looking into these assets. But what we're looking at is DigiLocker. Let's read the description here. DigiLocker is a flagship initiative of the Ministry of Electronics (IT) under the Digital India program. DigiLocker aims at digital empowerment of citizens by providing access to authentic digital documents to citizens' digital document wallet. Again, there's that wallet thing there. It's a secure cloud-based platform for storage, sharing, and verification of documents and certificates. Now, you can take some time on yourself to look at these statistics. I haven't looked at them yet. I was already just impressed at the dashboard. But I'm pretty sure, because we already know India's previous history, just like Brazil, they have been the most forward thinking. As a matter of fact, they're already in ISO 20022. They've been there years now, like going on a decade. And knowing that, it gives you can understand how India has been able to develop a digital infrastructure because they've already tackled the financial element. When you tackle the financial element, you can attack everything else from that point. So this DigiLocker thing is very impressive, right? The subject of the credit scores. Now, depending on who you ask, the whole credit score thing ties into social credit scores. Don't really want to get into that conversation because what I'm focusing on is the new access that these females will now have that they never had before. When you got access to financial tools that have never been seen in your family, you unlock generational wealth. And I don't care who you are, what color you are, where you come from. That's the ticket. At least to me, right? At least to me. That's just what I'm getting at here. But let's talk about how this expands Algorand's vision for India that they've already been building with the Algo Bharat initiative. So including the Mandeshi Foundation. We also have the Self-Employed Women's Association. They are the ones who launched the digital health passport. That was actually in the tweet that I reposted on my X account this morning. That digital health passport will also be integrated into India's existing digital infrastructure. And thanks to their relationship with the Mandeshi Foundation, SEWAs, they already have a market that they can work with. Not to mention the women that is already working with the Self-Employed Women's Association. Okay? I'm all for our ladies getting the bag. All right? If y'all ever come to my house, there's a whole section, a hallway, African queens. Just art, African queen art. Because I want my daughter to know who she is and where she come from. I'm just keeping it a buck with you. Now, we've watched this relationship between Algorand and India really evolve over time. And you don't see stuff like this with a lot of these networks. Okay? And another point I want to add here, and you'll notice when you download Blockmaster, is that what they're doing, particularly with the digital credit scores and the digital health, they're registering information on a ledger, which is one of the core functions of blockchain technology. So this is the equivalent of a backboard shot, a layup, when it comes to use case implementation, as far as I'm looking at it. And to that point, guys, let's now look at a little bit of the technicals behind Algorand. Okay? I'm over at Chain Spec right now. Fastest blockchains by transactions per second. When it comes to finality, which is the altogether time it takes to settle anything, not just transactions, but in-app actions as well, because that's another thing too that's very important. You can process as many payments as you can, but how many actions within the application can you do? That's the key right there. That is what makes finality so important. And you can see, number one, when it comes to finality, according to Chain Specs numbers, Algorand. And it's above some pretty top tier networks, Avalanche, BNB, Cello. Okay? It's the reason why Visa's stablecoin dashboard chose Cello to track when it comes to stablecoin volume. When you hear about the trillions that are coming through, unadjusted trillions, coming through the stablecoin ecosystem, though that information is only coming from select sources, either RWA.xyz or Visa's MasterCard dashboard or Visa's stablecoin dashboard, both of which track Cello. It's not an asset you hear a lot about, but they're definitely in all the right rooms. And then you have Chronos, Crypto.com, ICP, so forth and so on. What I'm getting at here, though, is I like this move that they have going in India. It is a perfect example from a technology perspective of what sets Algorand apart, of the instant finality being applied to a real world use case. Another way to understand finality is when you go to open up your bank app and you put in your pattern or you hit your fingerprint, that's an action. And there's a code involved in processing that action. Something else I am learning in this masterclass, right? Your whichever system operating software that you're using on the back end, if it's not good at processing those actions, then the interface of that app is going to suck. It's just going to be absolutely useless. No one's going to like it. Okay? Something that we see in every product across the board. So, let me know what you guys think about this, guys. Also, don't forget to download your DHN Blockchain Starter Kit. We do have links to the Algorand ecosystem. I added you in there. Yes, I did. I had them under the banking category. When I was putting this information together, it was actually about a year or so, year and a half, and Algorand was real heavy with the Bank of Italy, right? So That's how they got that association. But something that we have also learned, and you'll learn this too when you download Blockmaster, is the use cases in the world of blockchain ain't as exclusive as what they may appear to be. Okay? Multiple chains can do what Algorand does. Multiple chains can do what Stellar does. Multiple chains can do what the XRP ledger can do. Just like Ethereum, Solana, Tron, Binance, Crypto.com, so forth and so on. I could literally go all day. The core piece to it all is the blockchain. That's what you get in here. Alongside of that, guys, another way to support the channel, I'm not an affiliate of Robinhood, but I have been enjoying the heck out of their retirement tool. So when you want to set aside some of the millions that you're going to make in crypto, consider opening an IRA, man. I know it may seem, it may not be the sexiest thing, but the money got to go somewhere. The money got to go somewhere. All right. I don't want to see y'all spending all y'all bread at one time. Another way to support the channel, this one I am an affiliate of, is Uphold. And you can see up to 10.6% staking rewards on your crypto. You can access both of these by scanning the QR code on the screen or using the link in the description under this video or the pinned comment. With that, that's all I got. Y'all know what time it is. If that money is digital, so is the hustle.